All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Daily High. I will be your only host, Tone Vase, today. Matt is a little bit busy with family and dad duties, and we are jumping into the charts. So, this is actually very, very interesting. So, when I wake up in the morning, like it used to be, right, prior to 2 days ago, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is check the price of Bitcoin, like just the price. Like I'm not like in front of my computer, I'm still in bed. Like, so I grab my phone and the first thing I do is what is the price of Bitcoin? Like what happened over the last 10 hours since I've been asleep. But that's not the first website I'm going to check. And it's not the first website I've been checking yesterday or this morning. So for the next X amount of time, the first website I go to when I wake up in the morning is this website, Bitcoin Network Nodes, because I want to make sure that this right here remains zero for eternity. This is signaling of whether miners want to activate the NOTS user activated soft fork, which in my view is an attack on Bitcoin. And this morning, this number was zero. So remember the episode 2 days ago where everyone, not everyone, but some people considered the fact that I'm panicking. Well, the reason why I was borderline panicking is because I thought that the NOTS attack on Bitcoin would actually get momentum. And that attack getting momentum would make people lose confidence in Bitcoin as a decentralized, future replacement for money. But as you can see, with 3 or 4 days since the release of BIP 110, there has not yet been a single miner that has signaled that they want to activate the Bitcoin NOTS, basically attack on Bitcoin. And to me, in my opinion, which could be 100% wrong, can be completely wrong. I'm willing to admit that I don't know what the future holds. In my opinion, as this number goes up, the price of Bitcoin will go down. And the reason the price of Bitcoin will go down is because it would signal to the world, to the investors, to the traders, to the hodlers, to people like me, that Bitcoin is not that stable and Bitcoin is going to be in another massive war. And until, there is a prevailing side, the uncertainty of who's going to win, and it may not even matter who wins. Once a winner is, obvious, the confidence in Bitcoin will come back and the price of Bitcoin will go up. The problem is what happens during the battle, what happens in the trenches before the winner of whether NOTS activates or not, the uncertainty. I believe that the uncertainty period is very, very dangerous for Bitcoin's confidence, and that will be reflected in the price of Bitcoin crashing. But the zero signaling is giving me confidence that this attack on Bitcoin is going to fade away and die. Now, all the people that have been charged up from the people that are charging them to the people that have been charged mentally into believing that this is the savior of Bitcoin. These people will not go away. So these people will still be, a bit of a pain in the ass, kind of like the Bcash people are still a pain in the ass. But their voice has definitely faded and their voice has become completely irrelevant. Also, they realize that their attack big cash attack on Bitcoin failed. I don't know if the knots people are going to realize that their attack on Bitcoin failed. So they may try again and again and again, and maybe they'll fork off next time. But for now, when I wake up in the morning and I see this at 0, I am very, very happy, and the price of Bitcoin should be rising. What does this mean for Bitcoin's decentralization 10, 20, 30 years down the line? I have no idea, right? I just know that right here, we're in reality now, right? We're not in the future. We're not in 10 to 20 years from now. I don't know if knots is the better way to go 10, 20 years from now. I just know that a battle over spam now will deteriorate confidence in Bitcoin now, will crash the price now, and this channel analyzes the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't talk about, Bitcoin replacing the world's money in the future. This channel is designed. This is why I moved the trading and financial content to a different channel, to the Financial Summit / Black Box YouTube channel. And the job of this YouTube channel is to analyze the price of Bitcoin. And my analysis of the price of Bitcoin over the next 3 months is very, very simple. As this number stays 0, Bitcoin has a very high probability of going to all-time high. As this number starts to move up into the teens and the hundreds, the price of Bitcoin is likely to crash down to 40, 50, 60. I don't know. We'll find the bottom when we get there. Okay. So as I woke up and I saw this at 0, I was very optimistic. And now we go over to the price of Bitcoin and we see Bitcoin at $90,000, which is great. Okay. Because had this number right now been closer to the 20%. See, there are 20% of people running NOTS nodes, and yet there aren't 20% of miners interested in activating the user-activated soft fork. Now, playing my own devil's advocate, let me not, get ahead of my skis, as Greg Foss liked to put it. This signaling indicates miner readiness for knots. Now, because knots is not, making any massive changes, because knots is contracting the rules, not expanding the rules, every miner is technologically ready to activate knots. I mean, this isn't rocket science here, right? Every miner is technologically ready to signal for knots. They have to be mentally ready to signal for knots. They have to voluntarily choose to activate knots, to activate the knots soft fork, in my view, an attack on the Bitcoin protocol. And none of them are ready to do it. 0, right? So far. It's only been 3 days. Maybe they're still thinking about it. Maybe they don't even know about the signaling because they're not paying attention to this vocal minority on Twitter. Okay? So it's possible that this is going to skyrocket once it gets momentum. But with a 3-day sample size of this page's existence, this is 0. They need 55% of miners. They have 20% of plebs running their nodes. They have maybe, 0.5% of the, the leaders of the movement. They have a very few leaders of the movement. They have Mechanic and Luke and Chris Guida, who came on our show. They have their own YouTube channel, which is Matthew Crowder's Bitcoin University. They have prominent people. That's the 0.5, that's the less than 1% of people that have a large voice in the community. I don't know where BTC Sessions stands on this. I don't know where Simply Bitcoin stands on this. I will see these guys in El Salvador. I don't know if they're going to convert their channels like Matthew Crowder did to, we must activate the soft fork, right? I don't know. I don't know if these channels are going to stay neutral or they're going to pick a side. The Tone Vase YouTube channel picked a side. Well, I shouldn't say that because Jimmy Song's on the show and Jimmy Song has not picked a side. Tone Vase picked a side. The Tone Vase YouTube channel has not picked a side. Tone Vase picked a side. And hopefully Jimmy will continue to do the shows with me. And I'm willing to bring on guests from both sides. I'm still willing to bring on people from Knots. And I'm still willing, and I'm going to bring on people that are, I'm going to say anti-Knots user-activated soft fork. I'm not going to say pro-core. Because I'm not really pro-core. I'm just anti-Knots user-activated soft fork. They may default me as pro-core, but I'm more anti-soft fork. That's me personally. The show will do its best to stay neutral because I have a very neutral co-host. And but this show is specifically about the price of Bitcoin. And when I see this at zero, I am very happy going to look at the price of Bitcoin chart. And as you can see, the price of Bitcoin chart this morning is at $90,000. So as the movement to activate the Knots soft fork, I'm trying to be as respectful to Knots as possible, but I basically see Knots as censorship. It has elements of censorship. And elements of censorship have elements of centralization. And this is what my presentation in El Salvador is going to be about. And this is the best comment. I have too little info to have an opinion. That is perfect. Unfortunately, Pleb Royal, 90% of the people on the internet are not like you. Everyone has an opinion, whether they've taken the time to research or not. Okay, so this is going to be a short show because I got to get going, but there's not much to say other than the chart that matters more to me right now than the Bitcoin price chart is the block signaling chart. As the block signaling stays at zero, and remember, this number should be rising, so it'll be, the more time it takes, the harder it will be to get critical mass. So, actually it's per period, right? So previous period was only 462 blocks. It looks like we had a Bitcoin difficulty adjustment. And with every difficulty adjustment, a new period begins. So the current period is 2015 blocks. So that's about 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks. I think it's like 2 weeks. And the current 2-week period is 680 blocks in, I guess. Someone is saying we are at 4% of nodes and growing daily. Okay. Okay, so what? Doesn't matter, right? This right here. This is what you need. It doesn't matter how many nodes you're growing, right? It doesn't matter how many people that buy, it doesn't matter how many people that joined Bitcoin last month go buy a start 9 node in a box, plug it into a wall, and it defaults to signaling for knots. Like, it doesn't matter how many of these people buy this node, right? Start 9 is pro knots. I believe Start 9 defaults their box to knots, right? It doesn't matter how many of these boxes people buy. That's an irrelevant metric. The metric that matters is this metric here, and this metric here is 0. What's the website called? Right here. I mean, unless this website is incorrect and there's a better one. There's the website. Well, let me ask you this, right? Jet. Let's assume this is 100% true. Let's assume this is 100% true. You are taking a position that the world, not vocal plebs on Twitter, you are taking a position that the world is wrong and this guy is right, and that you're taking a position that the world losing confidence in Bitcoin because of a change that people are grossly overestimating as the killer of Bitcoin has the potential of destroying Bitcoin is wrong, right? So why do you assume that the market is wrong? Okay? No one is assuming that the market is wrong when gold and silver are at all-time highs, right? No one is saying the market is irrational. Gold should be $500 and silver should be 3 cents, right? No one is saying that the market is wrong, that gold and silver is at an all-time high. But the market, for the desire to own Bitcoin rising with the collapse of the attack of the NOTS nodes, somehow the market is wrong. And the small vocal minority on Twitter that is here to save Bitcoin from evil capitalists, and they're correct, but the market is wrong. Why? Why do you assume that, right? Why the inconsistency? So if the market is telling you that Bitcoin hit the all-time high when Core V30 was being released, the market was going to all-time high when, for months and months and months, when people should have known that op return limit was going to be removed because Core is the most open and transparent coding project in history. The market wasn't, crashing the Bitcoin price then, but the market in Bitcoin, while the S&P is going to all-time high, gold is going to all-time high, silver is going to all-time high, the confidence in fiat currency is moving towards all-time low, and the controversy in what is spam and what isn't spam began with the release of Core V30. The price is now, we're down 30% since that moment. And I speculated a week ago that there was a correlation between NOTS support and collapse in confidence in Bitcoin as a stable, decentralized asset to take over the world. And now, every time I wake up, as long as this stays zero, I'm bullish on Bitcoin. As this keeps rising, I will be bearish on Bitcoin, and the market can prove me wrong, okay? If I wake up tomorrow morning and this number is 20, right? I'll say 20, right? If I wake up tomorrow morning and this number is 20 and Bitcoin is breaking 95,000, I will be proven wrong. But if I wake up tomorrow morning and this number here is 20 and the price of Bitcoin is $82,000, what are you going to say? Are you going to say, oh, the market is just irrational? It's okay. When NOTS wins, Bitcoin will go up. It doesn't matter if the market goes to $3,000 or the tone-based favorite number, 1,500. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? If we wake up in the morning tomorrow and this number, this number will go up too, right? This number will be like 1,000. And let's say wake up in the morning tomorrow and this number is 250 and this number is 1,000 and Bitcoin is trading at $42,000. What are you going to say? You're going to say, oh, don't worry, no, the market's irrational. No, it's irrational. Once NOTS wins, you will watch Bitcoin go from 40,000 to 140,000. It'll happen instantly because NOTS wins, and that will be better for the long term, right? Uh, so, uh, yeah, Mark, I agree with you. No minor signal for SegWit in 2017. In the beginning, they didn't, right? In the beginning, they did not. But signaling for SegWit was increasing Bitcoin's decentralization, which would be raising the price of Bitcoin, creating more confidence in Bitcoin. Voting for NOTs does the opposite of that. It decreases confidence in Bitcoin as a stable asset. The opposite of the SegWit user-activated soft fork. Okay? This is my position, and I will be watching this number more carefully than I'm watching this number. Okay? Now, if the S&P 500 was crashing right now, if other assets like gold and silver were crashing right now, I wouldn't be as confident of correlating the price of Bitcoin to NOT's adoption. I would have other reasons as to why Bitcoin is underperforming. But I can't, but with the stock market going to a new all-time high this morning, and gold and silver sitting at all-time highs, see, the assets that are most correlated with Bitcoin are hitting all-time highs. And yet Bitcoin is sitting at the lows. So it has to be something else has to be driving the Bitcoin bus as to why it is grossly underperforming. Now, again, you can disagree with the market. You are welcome to disagree with the market, right? People short the S&P 500 all the time, thinking that a 1929 crash is coming. They continue to just lose their money. You can disagree with the market, but this is the correlation that I am working with for the immediate future until my opinion on the matter changes. This channel is designed to provide an analytical opinion of the price of Bitcoin, short term, intermediate term, and long term. Is the activation of NOTs better for Bitcoin in the long term? I don't know. It might be better, it might be worse. Is the activation of NOTs terrible for Bitcoin in the short term? The answer is absolutely yes, because it creates disruption and confidence in an asset that is decentralized and has no central authority to provide it confidence. So in the short term, the activation of NOTs is a fucking disaster. What does it mean for the intermediate term? I'm going to lean towards, bad, but I could be proven wrong that in the intermediate term, the price of Bitcoin rebounds with the activation of NOTs. So from a strictly analytical perspective, my opinion aside on whether I like NOTs or I don't like NOTs, I could be the biggest cheerleader for NOTs right now. I could be the biggest cheerleader for NOTs right now. I could be on board with their entire plan. And you know what? As an independent, free-thinking, honest analyst, I will still say the same effing thing. As NOTs adoption rises, I expect the price of Bitcoin to crash. Even if I was a NOTs supporter right now, I would say the same thing. Hey guys, it's okay. It's good in the short. It's okay. Don't worry. Yes, the price of Bitcoin will drop in the short term because people are worried that Bitcoin community is divided. But that's okay, because when NOTs wins, everything will be put in place, because when NOTs wins, for some reason, all the people that are anti-NOTs right now, all these people will magically disappear and you will not hear from them again. And they're going to be on board with our plan and they're going to be happy. And all the core developers that removed the op return and added witness data fields, all their changes from the last 4 years, all of those changes will be reverted, and all these developers are going to be so happy that all their changes to the code have been removed. They're going to join the NOTS coding team because they'll be so happy all their work for the last 4 years has been invalidated. They can't wait for that moment to join our team after we invalidate all of their work over the last 8 years, right? Like, this can't happen. This can't happen, okay? It is possible this can happen, right? But at the moment, every time I wake up in the morning, I will be checking this number. And if this number is 0, I will be very optimistic looking at the price of Bitcoin. And if this number starts to tick up, I will be looking at the price of Bitcoin like this when I wake up in the morning, because I would be expecting that price of Bitcoin to have a significant overnight drop. All right. On this note, I gotta go get a blood draw to see how what my biomarkers are after the 7-day dry fast. This is all I wanted to say this morning. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.